Okay, so last video was basic Henka training. I'm going to take that a step further today. I'll do another video later after this, a little bit more advanced, going into drawing and presentation. So we'll start out with Iaido. We're going to take a simple katana, and this is just to, you don't necessarily have to do this, but just to explain where I'm going with this. So it's actually a wasashi, but in any case, a sword. A sword doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be traditional Japanese, just I'm deriving this from Japanese culture. So we'll find a position to hold it in, okay? And just, taking the Japanese philosophy on it, we're going to hold the sword like this. And when we draw, we're going to give that nice arc to the blade. So I'm going to stand here and shizen, okay? And my hair's a mess. I'm going to stand here and shizen, and when I draw, I'm not just going to draw out like this because that sort of binds me, and come up like this because Chuck Norris is in the mall with, it's the same idea here. Everything being one motion. Even though it looks like three motions, in your mind it's just these three motions are one motion. In this case, step and draw. Okay, and when we go to, so we have these different kamais that we're going through. Say we finish a kata, and we're going to take, before we started out in shizen, and before we go back into that, we're going to practice this notion of feeling where the blade is, and this is all done very slowly, and we'll end up right back in the same position. So, forward, right here. Every time I move the sword, I'm moving my body. Ouch. That hurt a lot more than I'm letting on. In any case, don't pinch yourself. So there's going to be a motion when you have a cover garment or something, depending upon your weapon. There are going to be a lot of variables, but again, just as a basic, these guys are like, beep, okay, and that's fine. There is a very important aspect to training on the clock, getting your draw time up and all that stuff, so this is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break this down into, the Kamai no Kata motions, okay? So I'm standing here in shizen, okay? So get on my tiptoes a little bit, so legs about shoulder width apart, okay? And I reach over, right? Because there's my weapon, okay? It depends on where you store it, but for me, this is, this is my cover garment. This is where my weapon is. This is the kind of weapon I have on me right now. Okay, it's a very safe weapon, so I like to use this, similar styles like that GSG 22, very same format, very safe. So, from here I'm going to step back, okay, and then I'm going to release and bring it to my line like this, okay, finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So we're not putting the finger on the trigger, that's part of this, okay, and then when I go to holster, same deal, and I want to bring my cover garment back around. So this is all part of a motion, the Kamai no Kata. So 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And if you have to look at your holster, that's fine at first. Ultimately, you want to get it to where you have this muscle memory about where it is, exactly like the sword, where I can feel it going in and all that stuff. And don't worry about critiquing yourself. Perfection. What you're looking for is smoothness. Okay? So, 1, I step back. 2, draw. And then 3 is the pull the trigger and shoot. Step back. And if I have to look at it, that's fine. Okay. Another thing you can do to sort of create this tactile vision is do the blind man elephant thing, you know, where you're touching it and it sort of creates a picture in your mind. I know it's another one of those things that sounds really stupid, but when you can feel and you've created that muscle memory over time, you don't have to look. It becomes second nature. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, okay, now I'm tactical, I'm in the isosceles stance, you know, but you could do that, you know, you can start, you know, let's say you're just standing there having a conversation, somebody pulls a weapon, hey buddy, what are you doing? You know, you take a step back and get into that stance, you're ready to go. Now, if I want to draw forward, this kind of holster, these Blackhawks, they don't rotate like the cheaper ones do. So it depends on, you know, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's bad. It just depends on what you're doing. So there's only one way this is going to come up. So if I want to do an angular draw, you know, if I want to go this way or this way, then I have to maneuver my body. Okay. So let's say I want to draw back. Okay. Right here. Further back. Okay. Because if I step back this way, that's not really putting me in a good stable posture. So I can step back this way, pushing my weight forward, and then rock back. And then step up. She's in.